Welcome to Live Interactive English. I'm Kiki.
And I'm Mike. And today we are going to be beginning a 2-day look. I wish it was a 2-day journey, but we'll be going on a journey through our article for 2 days to the lovely islands in Stormy Seas. Now, when I say lovely islands in Stormy Seas, and I'm talking about Taiwan, a lot of people might already be able to guess, oh, yeah, that's Penghu. You're talking about Penghu there, of course, because it is islands. It's an island group. We might actually call it an archipelago, which is a lovely word to say, which just means a group of islands. And yeah, it's famous for being kind of windy and stormy there, right?
Well, I've never been to Penghu.
Oh, you've got to go.
You've been.
I have, a long time ago. But I wish I would want to go back.
Yeah.
I should go back.
What's something that left an impression?
It was very clean.
Okay.
It was very new. Like the roads were smooth and nice. I had a friend there. He said it was very safe. Like he could leave his door unlocked and things like that. So that was kind of nice. And it was just clean and fresh. And maybe that's because of the winds they often have. The weather wasn't the best when we were there, but I had a really good time. Everyone was friendly. And of course, the seafood was wonderful. Everywhere you go, they have that thing where the fishing boats are here and the restaurants are here and the fish just crosses the road and goes on your table.
Wow.
It was a really nice place to be, so I would love to go back.
Wow, well, I would love to learn more about Penghu,
Yes.
and I hope that you guys can convince me to visit.
At the end of the article tomorrow, we will be booking our trip to go there with some friends, for sure.
My trip to Magong in the Penghu Islands had a shaky start. My friend and I had to take a boat there because all the flights were fully booked. Traveling by boat in the summer months is a risk since they fall within the typhoon season. As a result, my journey was pretty tough going. The ship rocked so much that we could hear people throwing up around us. Once we were on the island, though, the weather began to improve. We rented a motorcycle, which made getting around very easy. The day after we arrived, we rode it to Zhongyan Old Street in the center of Magong City. The street was small but full of charm, with stalls selling snacks and unique local crafts.
So our article today is Penghu, lovely islands in the stormy seas.
Sounds like a song title. Lovely islands in storm. Anyway, stormy is an important word to know because it's in our title right there. You know what a storm is, right? When you wake up and the sky is dark gray and it's raining and windy and lightning, or maybe you're in Canada or Russia, I don't know, in the winter and the wind is blowing and the snow is coming down and you can't even go outside because there's too much snow. That's a storm. So when things are like that, it's stormy. How's it outside? Ooh, it looks very stormy. I heard some thunder and I saw some lightning and rain is falling. So there's a lot of storm. So when we say stormy seas, we're thinking like big waves and lots of wind. And if you're on a boat, that might not be so much fun. Or if you're flying through stormy skies in an airplane, the plane's jumping and bumping all around, that kind of thing. We can also use this to talk about people, right? If you have a stormy relationship, you're having trouble and arguments and fights or things like that. So things aren't calm, things aren't relaxed, things aren't peaceful. They're kind of the opposite. So there you go. I guess it is important to check the weather before you go to a place like Penghu because it can be stormy. For example, after seeing how stormy the sea looked, we were all nervous to get on the ship. And that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's get straight into our article about Penghu.
All right.
My trip, and in this case, Mai is the author of this article.
Okay.
My trip to Magong in the Penghu Islands had a shaky start.
A shaky start? An earthquake?
Oh, no.
No.
What happened? My friend and I had to take a boat there because all the flights were fully booked.
Wow, okay.
So originally they were going to fly there.
Right.
But then they had to take a boat because all the flights were booked. And that's why they had a shaky start to their trip.
That makes sense. It will take them a lot longer to get there if they're going by boat than, of course, it would by plane. Interesting.
Right. So here we have the phrase, have a shaky start. So when you have a shaky start to something, it means something is not going as planned or there are things that kind of were unpredictable. You didn't predict that it was going to happen this way.
It wasn't smooth and easy with no problems.
Right. And so sometimes you can have a shaky start to a relationship.
Okay.
Right? When you, even with friends, you meet somebody and maybe you're having trouble communicating with each other. That could be a shaky start. But over time, maybe it'll get better.
Yeah, sure. You might have a shaky start your first day at a job. You're learning the job, you're meeting the people, you drop something, you make a mistake. It wasn't the best day. It wasn't a terrible disaster, but you had a few problems along the way. So yes, definitely, if you're trying to go to Penghu and suddenly you find, oh, we can't get on an airplane, we can only take a boat, that will definitely change your plans in maybe not the best way. So let's see what happens. It says traveling by boat in the summer months is a risk since they fall, the summer months, they fall within the typhoon season. Yes, of course. Traveling in Taiwan during the summer, you always have to know about the weather and the typhoon forecast, and definitely going somewhere by boat can be a risk. It can be a little, well, dangerous. It could be dangerous, or else it's just not as easy. It brings more problems with it. You can come into trouble more frequently or more commonly because, of course, yeah, the summer is typhoon time, and taking a boat through a typhoon, well, that won't happen. The boat won't go anywhere. So, yeah, you don't want to do that if you can go by plane, I guess. So what happened?
As a result, my journey was pretty tough going.
Okay.
The ship rocked so much that we could hear people throwing up around us.
Oh, that's a nice sound.
That's kind of gross.
Oh, yeah.
So they didn't have the best time on the boat.
No, people were not enjoying it. People were being sick to their stomach. They were throwing up. And you know that sound of that kind of that's not, and the smell too.
Ew,
so
ew.
if you're not the kind of person who likes to be on the water when it's moving a lot, maybe don't even try that. Just wait till you can fly.
Hello， 大家好，我是 Hanny。今天的课文标题是澎湖 Lovely Islands in Stormy Seas。单字 stormy 它就可以形容是暴风雨的，或者是波涛汹涌的。它其实还可以形容是激烈的，或是冲突不断的。那么作者有提到说，他们的澎湖马公之旅一开始并不顺利，所有的航班都客满，就只能搭船过去。那当时这个船摇晃得很厉害，他们可以听到周围有人呕吐的声音诶。那么 Kiki 老师用到 gross 这个字 gross 就可以形容令人恶心的、令人厌恶的。那文中用到 have a shaky start， 字面意思是指有个不稳定的开始，也就是一开始不顺利、起步困难。那么 shaky 它可以指不稳定的、摇晃的。Kiki 老师这时候用到 unpredictable 这个形容词，在 predict 前面加上字首 un， 后面加上字尾 able， 那它可以表达不可预测的、难以预料的。好，这边还有两个重点。第一个重点是 so 加上形容词或副词加 that 子句，表示非常怎么样，以至于怎么样，如此怎么样，结果怎么样。那这个句型是用来强调 so 后面的形容词或副词程度 ，that 子句用来表达所造成的结果。举例来说 ，The video was so funny that we watched it again and again。那个影片非常好笑，以至于我们一再的重看。那第二个重点，感官动词，它是指看、听、闻、感觉之类的动词，包括 watch、see、look at、listen to、hear、smell、feel 等等。我们来看常见的用法。 第一种是感官动词加受词加原形动词，这是表示事实或过程。例如 We didn't notice anyone leave the room. 我们没注意到任何人离开房间。第二个用法是感官动词加受词加现在分词 VING， 这表示动作正在进行，像是 He felt something moving in the dark. 他感觉到黑暗中有东西正在动。好，那接回到课文中。
Okay, back to our article. Once we were on the island, though...
They made it. They were safe. Of course they're safe. He's telling the story. Yes, right. Go on, please.
The weather began to improve.
Hey!
So everything was good.
Yes.
They didn't have a storm anymore.
Good.
We rented a motorcycle, which made getting around very easy.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we did that too. We rented motor scooters, and of course you can drive around, you can, because there aren't many taxis and things on Penghu, so driving yourself is much easier. It gives you lots of freedom. So what did they do? It says the day after we arrived, so I guess that first day they were letting their stomachs settle and just enjoying the town where they were. So the next day they decided to explore. It says the day after we arrived, or the next day, we rode it to Zhongyan Old Street in the center of Magong City. So that's a place to know about and a place to check out. What will you find? It says the street was small, but full of charm, with stalls selling snacks and unique local crafts and probably 100 other interesting things. But yes, you would definitely go there for some of the snacks and the crafts. The snacks are for eating, of course, and the crafts are for buying and collecting or giving away as gifts, maybe. What is a craft? It's basically something that is made by a person with their hands. So it's not something that's made in a big factory and shipped off to the stores all over the world. It's something that might be made by a person at home or in an artist's studio, and they're probably doing it after practicing and training for many years. It could be art, it could be painting or something like that, but it could also be a clothing that's made by hand, or a leather wallet that was made by a person, you know, carving and kind of making it beautiful and artistic, but also useful in some kind of way. Often on the weekend, if you go out, they might have a craft market and you'll have all these different people, and usually the person you're buying it from is the person who made it with their own hands. We also sometimes call these handicrafts to show you that they're crafts made by hand. For example, I was searching for somewhere to buy locally made crafts. Interesting things that are really actually very good gifts when you're traveling.
作者一到岛上，天气就开始好转。他们有租一辆摩托车，隔天就骑车前往马公市中心的中央老街。老街的摊位有卖小吃和独特的当地的手工艺品。好，那么 craft 这个字表示手艺啊、工艺或是工艺品。当这个意思解释时，固定用复数形。那么 Mike 老师则提到 handicraft。HANDI 再加上 craft， 那这部分表示手工艺品的意思。介华课文中。
Okay, well, we learned a little bit about how to get around or even get to Penghu.
Yes, indeed.
But we will take a short break.
Okay.
I tried cactus ice cream, a Penghu specialty. The sour, slightly sweet flavor was refreshing and unlike anything I'd tasted before. Later, we attended the Penghu International Fireworks Festival. It was amazing when the fireworks began exploding over the sea. The reflections on the water and the colors lighting up the sky made it a wonderful experience. After that, we had a seafood dinner. It included oysters, snails, crabs, and calamari. Everything tasted incredibly fresh, as it had all been caught that very morning.
All right, so our traveler whose story we are reading went to Zhongyang Old Street, where they had snacks and crafts. We read a little bit about the snacks. What about the crafts? What about those snacks?
Okay, let's see what they tried. I tried cactus ice cream. Cactus ice cream.
Cactus ice cream?
Yes, that pointy plant that lives in the desert.
How do you make ice cream in the desert?
Well, they don't make it in the desert.
I see. Who thinks of these things? Okay, anyway, sorry. Go on, please.
I tried cactus ice cream, a Penghu specialty.
Okay, all right, I'm interested.
The sour, slightly sweet flavor was refreshing and unlike anything I'd tasted before.
Okay, interesting flavor. Sour like a lemon and sweet like candy or sugar or fruit or something. That's that. I'd try that.
Yeah,
I would try that. Okay.
And it's unique, right?
Very.
So here we have the adverb slightly.
Slightly sweet.
Slightly is basically just to some degree. Okay, so it's only a little bit sweet.
It's a little bit.
It's not too sweet.
Yep.
Okay, we have an example sentence, which is, the cake took slightly longer to bake than we expected. So originally we were going to bake the cake for 45 minutes.
Okay.
We ended up having to bake it for maybe 60 minutes?
55 minutes, just a little bit longer. Yeah, actually, when we say slightly, you can really just replace it with a little bit in almost any sentence, and it has the same meaning.
作者提到他有品尝澎湖的特产仙人掌冰淇淋，他觉得酸中带甜的风味十分清爽，跟他以前吃过的都不一样。那么 cactus 就是仙人掌 ，specialty 则是表达地方特产，而单字 slightly 这个副词它表示稍微或是轻微的那种意思。接华课文中。
Okay, so we've had some cactus ice cream, very interesting. And what's next? What did we do after that?
Later, we attended the Penghu International Fireworks Festival.
I've been to that.
Really?
Yeah, I played music there.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, it was pretty fun.
But how did they hear you over all the fireworks?
They told us to stop when they did the fireworks. So we all stopped. We had a little break. We watched the fireworks and then we finished our show.
Well, it was amazing when the fireworks began exploding over the sea.
Yeah, there's a lot of fireworks.
Wow.
And I think when I was there, there's the Rainbow Bridge right there. So it's absolutely beautiful.
Wow.
And it's a really good fireworks show.
Well,
really.
Tell me more about the fireworks show.
Okay, it says the reflections on the water and the colors lighting up the sky made it a wonderful experience. Of course, mostly fireworks shows are at night. So yes, you will get these reflections on the water of the fireworks. Wow. It'll sort of act like a mirror, the water, and the colors will light up the sky. And there might be some clouds there. And as I said, a beautiful, colorful bridge. It is a wonderful experience and a beautiful show. When we talk about a reflection, as I said, it's sort of like when the light bounces off the water or when light bounces off a mirror or a piece of glass and you can see yourself in the mirror. In the same way, I'm sure you've noticed if you go, maybe not a river or the ocean, but a lake, if the water is very smooth and calm, you can actually use it almost like a mirror. So light bouncing off something or sound as well, bouncing off something can cause a reflection. It's just when something like light bounces off a surface, comes back, and you can see it. For example, his reflection in the mirror showed how much he had changed over the years. Well, it does that, but very slowly. But yes, it's true.
Okay, well, let's see what the traveler did after the fireworks show.
Okay, we've only had cactus ice cream so far.
That's not enough.
No, not even close.
After that, we had a seafood dinner.
Of course.
Just like you mentioned.
You gotta.
Fresh seafood.
Why not? You're surrounded by the ocean.
It included oysters, snails, crabs, and calamari.
Ooh, calamari? That's just squid.
Yeah.
Isn't that squid? Yeah. All right, everything tasted good?
Everything tasted incredibly fresh.
Told you.
As it had all been caught that very morning. So just like you said.
Exactly.
Straight from the boat, the fish walked across the street.
They do. Yeah.
Onto your table.
Sometimes they just jump out of the ocean into your bowl.
That is
They're
incredibly
very fresh. Maybe not that fresh, but yes, if they've only been caught a few hours before, it is incredibly fresh.
And still possible for it to just jump onto your bowl.
I would think that. You have to pay more for that.
Oh, okay. Well, here we have another adverb, and it's incredibly, which is basically the opposite of slightly.
Oh, yeah.
Incredibly basically means to to have a huge, to be very likely or very possible of something. So a big amount. Okay. So for example, if we're talking about something being incredibly fresh, it means it is very, very fresh. Okay. An example sentence we have is the movie was incredibly moving. And by the end, everyone was in tears. So the movie was very, very touching.
后来，作者他们有参加澎湖国际海上花火节，那看到水面上的烟火倒影，再加上烟火照亮了天空的色彩，就为他们带来了很棒的体验。之后，他们还去吃海鲜大餐，有吃到牡蛎、海螺、螃蟹和鱿鱼，所有食物都很新鲜，都是当天早上捕获的。好，单字 reflection 这个名词表示印象、倒影或者是映射的意思。Incredibly 这个副词则表达极其怎么样，或是难以置信的。而文中提到 oyster 就是牡蛎或者是蚵。Calamari 则表示鱿鱼，这个字通常是用在讲这个食材的时候。那 Mike 老师说的 squid 也是指鱿鱼。介华课文中。
All right, well, that's all the time we have for today in Penghu. But remember, this is a 2-day article, and I guess it's at least a 2-day trip because we have more adventures and interesting things to check out on the lovely islands in Stormy Seas. So please come back tomorrow to join us for day 2.
My trip to Magong in the Penghu Islands had a shaky start. My friend and I had to take a boat there because all the flights were fully booked. Traveling by boat in the summer months is a risk since they fall within the typhoon season. As a result, my journey was pretty tough going. The ship rocked so much that we could hear people throwing up around us. Once we were on the island, though, the weather began to improve. We rented a motorcycle, which made getting around very easy. The day after we arrived, we rode it to Zhongyan Old Street in the center of Magong City. The street was small but full of charm, with stalls selling snacks and unique local crafts. I tried cactus ice cream, a Penghu specialty. The sour, slightly sweet flavor was refreshing and unlike anything I'd tasted before. Later, we attended the Penghu International Fireworks Festival. It was amazing when the fireworks began exploding over the sea. The reflections on the water and the colors lighting up the sky made it a wonderful experience. After that, we had a seafood dinner. It included oysters, snails, crabs, and calamari. Everything tasted incredibly fresh, as it had all been caught that very morning.
最后，我们来复习今天课文里面的单字文法。单字的部分有 stormy， 它是表达暴风雨的、波涛汹涌的，是形容词。第二个单字 craft 是名词，表示工艺品。当这个意思时，固定用复数形，那它也可以指手艺工艺。第三个是 slightly， 这个副词表示稍微、轻微的。第四个 reflection 是名词，表示印象、倒影或映射。第五个 incredibly， 它是副词，表示极其或难以置信的。文法的部分，第一个学到 so 加形容词或副词加 that 子句，表示非常点点点以至于怎么样，如此点点点结果怎么样。第二个学到感官动词，包括 watch、see、look at、listen to、hear、smell、feel 等等。那常见用法就有感官动词加受词加原形动词，表示事实或过程。感官动词加受词加现在分词 VING， 则是表示动作正在进行。好，那以上是今天的讲解，同学别走开，马上回来哦。
Hey, 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 it's KiWi on the street. I'm Kiki.
And I'm Winnie. And today we are showing Kiki how to play gomoku.
Yes, I've never played before.
Yes, okay, so today we have our gomoku game board. We also have 2 bowls of the game pieces or stones. We have a white one and a black one. The player with the black stones gets to go first.
Well, who decides who gets to go first?
Well, to make it fair, let's just play rock, paper, scissors.
Okay.
Okay, rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Okay, so I get to go first.
Okay.
And I will start by putting my piece right in the center. That's my strategy.
Okay.
So the objective of the game is think tic-tac-toe meets Connect 4. So your objective is to get 5 in a row.
Okay. And what's the strategy? Like, where can I put my pieces? Do I have to put it in the middle?
Technically, you can put it anywhere on the board as long as it crosses an intersection. So right on the line, you'll see kind of a dot or right in the middle. So you can go horizontally, you can go diagonally, or you can go vertically. But I think the best strategy is to kind of just play along where the first piece is.
Okay, and then we can block each other?
Yes.
Okay.
Here are the rules. And to make things interesting, how about we make a bet?
Okay. Loser does the dishes.
Okay, you're on.
Okay. Block you.
I knew you were going to do that. Booyah.
Ooh, that's a really good strategy.
Yep,
I didn't see that.
I know, it's kind of like a trap. I know you have to go there, so I know I'm going to get one.
Good. But what happens if you draw in this game?
Well, the chances of a draw in Gomoku are not impossible, but it's really low, and there's usually a clear win and lose. But hey, for your first time, that wasn't bad.
Yeah, but I'm doing the dishes tonight.
And I feel so sorry for you, but not really. Okay, so everyone, please follow us on Instagram and DM or email us if you have anything you want to say in English. Kiki, do you have anything you need to say?
Well, thanks for teaching me a new game. I'm really excited.
Oh, that's all for today.
Kiwi later.